And welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and I'm very pleased to have in the studio with me the Executive Director of Social Security Works, Alan Lawson. SocialSecurityWorks.org is the website. And Alan, welcome.
Great to be here.
And by the way, your Twitter is ALAW202, right?
Yes.
And at SSWorks as well. Okay, so one of the things that we have been hearing is that soon there's going to be a, quote, 50% increase in premiums for Medicare Part B. Now, that's the big, scary headline that's got everybody all freaked out. The bottom line, though, is that if you make less than $88,000 a year after you're retired and on Medicare, which is a very small number of people, this will not affect you at all, first of all. Is that correct?
Basically, it's two good policies and a very rare and unique economic situation that we're looking at. So what you're talking about is there is a hold harmless provision that says that your Medicare Part B premiums can't go up more than your Social Security COLA. And this year, what we're going to hear next week is that the Social Security COLA is going to be zero, unless we see an amazing increase in gas prices in the next week. That is almost certainly what's going to happen.
They went up yesterday quite significantly.
And it is possible, but it's very unlikely that core inflation is going to go up enough by next week that we will see something more than a 0% increase for of everyone's COLA on Social Security, right?
So if your COLA goes up, your Medicare expenses can't go up.
Right. If your COLA doesn't go up, or they have to match with this hold harmless. Now, everyone who's not held harmless, their premiums can go up. And in the hold harmless provision, it has to cover all of the ones that didn't go up. So everyone, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the thing is, you're right about folks. Some of the people who are not in the held harmless are folks who are making more money. But there's a couple other populations in there as well. People who are newly enrolled to Social Security will also be hit with this tremendous this tremendous premium increase. Right. And also dual eligibles, which will be actually paid for by the states. So it's a situation. The premiums is one thing, and you're talking about 30% of beneficiaries will see their premiums go up. Right. But at the same time, that no increase on COLA is going to hit a lot of people very hard, because it's just not true that people's costs are not going up, right? I mean, like, you're mainly talking about the price of oil is what's affecting that. Right. But the drug prices that people are paying are going up.
Well, this is something Bernie Sanders has been saying for a decade on this program, and I'm guessing probably for 4 decades in politics, is that seniors have a different lifestyle than 20-somethings, and cost of living adjustments are heavily weighted by technology. So as computers get more powerful and less expensive, that reduces the cost of living that's calculated for Social Security. And, most seniors are not buying a new computer every year, but they are buying more pharmaceuticals. Right. And they are, and the cost of food is going up, and the cost of transportation is going up, and the cost of health care is going up, and all these other things. So there actually is an increase in the cost of living for people on Social Security, even though there's no COLA. Is there any move in Congress to change that? I realize Republicans wouldn't want to do that. They want to just privatize Social Security. So
a couple things on that. One is that the automatic COLA increase is just a pure positive good thing. Right. We would definitely not want to give this to the Congress to do, like that they would have to do it. What formula is used to automatically calculate it? I think that is more what you're asking. Yes. And that is, there are a couple options. The CPIE is definitely one of another basket that it tracks a little bit more with the cost seniors face, but it's not perfect either. So we could, for this particular year, what we would need to do, and there is some talk on the Hill, some of our champions are talking about a single piece of legislation that would deal with this year's anomaly. But in terms of the long term, I think what we need to do is just expand Social Security across the board and some targeted increases like switching to the CPIE, maybe increasing the special minimum. These are all things that Senator Sanders' bill to expand Social Security would do.
Right. And good on him for that. Although, again, a Republican Congress will always kill that. But if we can get a Democratic Congress, we might get this through. This increase in premiums that's going to happen, it's going to happen to Medicare Part B.
Correct.
Forgive me. I'm a year away from being eligible for this stuff, and I know nothing about it. What is the difference between Medicare Part A and Part B?
So Part A, and it depends on which part of it you're talking about, like the financing. But generally, there's Part A, Part B, and Part D. So Part A is generally hospital insurance. And that one, we can put to the side for this discussion because it's paid for out of the general revenue primarily. You don't pay anything into that. That's kind of covered.
Was this the original Medicare that Lyndon Johnson rolled out?
I believe that there's a piece in both of them that is original.
Okay.
But I actually would have to look back at the history to make sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And just to get my plug in here, I love Medicare. Medicare, it does a far better job than the private industry, but even in Medicare, because it has to interface with so much of the private health insurance, you see these inefficiencies, right?
There's been all these holes drilled in it over the years by various Republican legislatures, providing opportunities for Stephen J. Hemsley and his company, United Healthcare, to make another $1 billion.
Exactly. So my thing would, and I know, I agree with you on this, that a far simpler single payer system would mean we wouldn't have to delve into these details.
Right.
Now, Part B is going to be like mainly your doctor's visits, if you're going in for regular checkups, preventative care, things of that nature, that actually have premiums that are automatically deducted from part of them. About 25% are automatically deducted from your Social Security check.
Right.
And
so these are premiums that are being charged by the U.S. government with a very, very low overhead. So this is a highly efficient way of delivering healthcare services to people.
Yes.
Where does United Healthcare come into this?
Part D. I
thought Part D was the pharmacy that was
passed.
passed.
I'm sorry. You're right. When you said Helmsley, I was thinking pharma, but it was just I got the evil confused.
Yeah.
You're talking United Healthcare insurance. Now that would be part. I think you'd see them in Part B, but mainly in other insurance products.
Mm-hmm.
When you drill a hole in something, or if there is a gap in coverage, which there are, that's where the private industry comes in.
So the private insurance is sold is called Medigap in some cases. That's not anything created by the federal government. That's simply private health insurance companies saying, oh, the government doesn't cover everything, we'll fill in the holes. Is that right?
That is, I would just go one step further and say that's the private insurance companies saying, that's the gap that we make our money on. We better maintain that gap, see if we can widen it a little bit and market products to fill it.
Right. So was that gap was it just an accident of the original Social Security legislation, or has that gap been inserted over the years by conservatives?
I actually don't know the entire genesis of the gap.
It'd be fascinating to figure it out.
It would. The one thing that I know I can with confidence say is that you can always tell the difference between somebody who's interested in selling insurance products and an advocacy group with how they treat the gap. Somebody who is interested in selling products is selling products to fill that gap. An advocacy group is working to close that gap and get rid of it and get everything covered by the much more efficient Medicare system.
Right.
I don't have to beat around the bush on your show. AARP is one of the largest providers of these Medigap marketing.
This is what they do.
AARP is a giant insurance company.
Yeah, it's just an insurance sales operation for United Healthcare.
So what I would, that's the difference between, an advocacy group would be aiming at making this more efficient, more universal, covering more, and not looking to create and maintain inefficiencies to market products.
There you go. Hang on.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Alex Lawson, the Executive Director of Social Security Works, the website socialsecurityworks.org. You can tweet him at SSWorks. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Tom.